Welcome to my little focus peaking test with the Panasonic G6 and the Pentax manual focus 50mm 1.4. I'm going to show you how to increase the effectiveness. A lot of people think it doesn't work, probably because they have the sharpening turned way down. So I'm going to show you what the difference is and why the effect can be so much better especially for raw shooters who don't care if they ruin the JPEGs with over sharpening. Anyway, off we go. Here we back focus off to run the test, and now I'm going to edge it ever so gently. There you could see it flashed quite brightly, and then I took it past and I come back. There's very strong focus right there. At this point I'm looping to show you the glittering of the mission signs on the speakers. The focus is very clearly pretty good, and that's really quite good for 1.4 because I have the lens wide open. But it can get better, and I'll show you that in a moment. But first, let's go in a bit closer where we hit the left side of the ring and pop it into close focus mode. I adjust it back and forth just a little bit, and you can see the glittering there as tiny particles are have the light shining on them, and of course they're showing that they're coming into and out of focus. But in the end, this glittering, that's my hand by the way, I don't remember why I'm blocking it. In the end, the glittering is a sign that it's in focus, because it only does it when it gets right into focus on very fine fabric like that. So I just took a shot, and we're going to go in and have a little peek at how accurate this, or how clean this looks. And of course I'm hitting the wrong buttons here. It's very awkward. I've got one camera filming another. This film is, by the way, the GX1. Okay, so you can see it's actually pretty sharp. The JPEG engine on the G6 is rendering at 0 sharpness here. I've got it just on standard. I'll crank it up a little bit in the next segment, because focus peaking works far better when you start cranking sharpening up. And that's where we're going to head in a second here. So there I go, cranking contrast first. Now I'm going to crank sharpness to +5. And with those two cranked to their top level, what you're really doing is enhancing every edge. And you can already see the reaction just with the contrast, and here comes sharpness, and now everything's turning white on the bottom. All of those little molded in edges are glittering even before I readjust focus, which I'm about to do. And here we go. And you can see it can turn almost pure white at one point, or certainly quite bright right there. It's just so much better when you crank sharpness up. I mean, I can't stress that enough. So that's kind of the end of this tutorial, if you want to call it that. And all I can say is crank your sharpness up. JPEG shooters, I'm sorry, but that really is your only alternative, and you're going to have to bruise your pixels even harder. Frankly, shoot RAW if you don't like it. So here I go in closer, and again you're going to go in and out of focus, and it's going to glitter even more than it did before once I really achieve the finest focus. And you have to just touch the lens. I mean, it really is a very fine edge between in and out of focus. Yeah, that's actually pretty good. And so the other thing that I think I want to mention, if I can now drag it out of my tired brain, is that right, stop down the lens if you want to increase the zone of sharpness. It makes everything easier, obviously. But you can see I was working at f1.4, and that was pretty darn good. So that's it. You know, the GM1 has 2 levels of sensitivity, and it reacts even better because you can get really close, but crank your sharpness up again, same thing. So hope you enjoy that.